Hello and welcome to Black Bear Atheist, and we're back with another Cliff video. And today we're gonna see the classic duel between him and his son, and I hope you enjoy. Today he's gonna answer the question, can good and evil be based on evolution? I guess we're gonna get the answer from him and his son.
I live for the pleasure of God and the pleasure of knowing and loving people. See, the question is how you define pleasure. Now, I assume that a person who says, I don't believe in God, I just live for pleasure, means by that they're living to stimulate their nerve endings. They're looking for the party. They're looking for the sexual encounter. They're looking for the drug high. That's what I
That's not the only thing that gives you pleasure. You can get pleasure from helping people. You can get pleasure from doing what I'm doing right now, making a YouTube video. You can get pleasure from literally running a mile, from doing exercises. Like your body actually gets pleasure from you doing exercise. It's painful, but the relax after, it feels good. It's just weird to me that in some of the other videos that I did, he also mentioned like marijuana just randomly, or things college kids would do. The manipulation is crazy.
assume they mean. But if someone just says, I live for pleasure, I would hop in and say, yeah, so do I. I live for pleasure also. The pleasure of glorifying God, the pleasure of respecting and loving people, and developing deep relationships with people. And that is exciting.
Sorry for pausing, but loving and caring for people, yeah, okay, whatever you say.
How do you tell a generation, Gen Z, these people believe in something called nihilism? How do you explain that their life has purpose?
What the heck? These people believe in nihilism. Gen Z is a population of people. You can't just say we all believe in nihilism. How does that work? Why do people do this? Okay.
If nihilism says otherwise, if it says their life has absolutely no purpose.
Atheism logically leads right to nihilism, and it's impossible to live that out. Why?
All Gen Z are not nihilists. All Gen Z are not atheists. And atheist doesn't lead to nihilism. It just leads to you understanding that there's actually no objective purpose for your life. You make it what you want to make it. It's subjective. Anyways.
Because if there is no purpose to life, if life is absurd, then Albert Camus, the great French atheistic philosopher, was correct when he said, the only question you have to answer is, why not commit suicide? Why keep sucking wind?
You have to answer that question too when you're a Christian. Why not commit suicide? I asked myself that while I was a Christian. And guess what? The only thing that was stopping me then was, oh, because I will go to hell for it. That was the only thing stopping me from committing suicide. When my religious faith in Christianity, which is very fucking weird, that the only thing keeping you from committing suicide is the fear of going to hell. But anyways, moving on. When I become an atheist, I actually have to find reason why it's beneficial for me to live. Which clearly I'm still alive and I found my reason. There's so much to do. There's so much things to live for. There's so much thing I haven't experienced that I want to. Maybe after I do all the things on my list, then I could commit suicide. But that's like, I'll probably be 200 by then. That's the list of things I've given myself to do. There is no objective reason for you to be living. Like the universe doesn't give a fuck. If the entire human race was wiped out, the universe the gravity wouldn't just fail at doing its job. And I know I'm getting kind of dark here, but just because you don't like reality doesn't mean your religion is true. This is what they always fall back on.
Why keep living? Why? And Camus' point was, if you really believe that life is absurd, you've got to seriously contemplate suicide. He's right. I mean, why continue to work? Why continue to make the effort if your life is a joke? If it's ultimately meaningless and absurd?
What do you mean a joke? That's relative. You can think your life is a joke, but I don't think my life is a joke. If there's, this is how these people, I know they don't even understand what they're saying. If you're saying, from an atheist perspective, life is not objectively, it doesn't have an objective purpose to life. Why would they then go ahead and say, well, your life is a joke? That's subjective, not objective. Objectively, there's no purpose. So why would they say something like subjective, like your life is a joke? Like, oh my God, Cliff, makes sense.
So you see, my point is, if I said I'm a follower of Christ, and this woman said, fine, Cliff, but you can't live out what Jesus taught, then I have a real problem. I say I believe something, but I can't live it out. And I better go back and re-examine my faith in Christ. Well, the same thing is true for the atheist and the nihilist. If you say there is no God, life is absurd, there is no purpose to life, then why are you living your life as if there is purpose? Why are you creating your own purpose in life? You told me you believe there is no purpose. Well, if there is no purpose, live it out.
Cliff, that is what I'm doing. If there's no objective purpose, I am making my own purpose. You can't just stop me from doing it. I can still do that, Cliff. And that's what everybody is doing. It's just you think the purpose comes from your amazing God, and I think making my purpose make more sense. I mean, because there's no evidence for an objective purpose. There's no actual evidence for any of that. What's the objective purpose for you doing all this shit? To get more people to Christ? I don't think that's ever gonna work. So what's the point? To make yourself feel better, like you have a purpose? So relative to you, we all live on that. What's the point of having doctors if God is real? Shouldn't He just heal everyone? What's the objective purpose of Christians being doctors? So they shouldn't be doctors. All of them should be pastors and just going to church every Sunday. We all make these decisions and think, oh yeah, it's coming from God, or oh yeah, it's all coming from my deity. But like, it's really not. You're making those relative choices. Just because there is no objective purpose doesn't mean you can't make life what you want to make it.
You can't. You're always attaching value, significance, meaning to your life. Wow.
It's not objective though. That's the point here. I don't even know what he's trying to prove. The point that atheists are trying to make is that it's not objective.
Wow. I wonder why you're doing that. Is it not more probable the reason you do that is because you were made for a purpose?
I guess my purpose is to just break down religion and make videos to show how none of the Christianity or any other religion doesn't make sense. I guess that's my purpose. Make sense, Cliff. Make sense. Please.
To love God and to love others, to work, to get a good education, to develop your mind so you can do a better job, to be creative, and to make this world more like heaven will be. How about that? Jesus made...
I guess Christians have done a quite nice job with the crusade 1, 2, 3, and 4. Quite nice job of making earth look more like heaven.
Makes more sense than atheism does. What do you think, Stuart?
Well, if you're
Oh my god. It's like passing a baton. I feel bad for Stuart, but like, if you don't make sense to, I will call you out.
Nihilist, why in the world would you live for something like virtues? Why would you be a compassionate, loving person?
Answer: because I can.
Martin Luther King Jr. talked about how intelligence is great, but intelligence without character is nothing. You have to have both intelligence and character. Well, where do we get the basis for character? Judeo-Christian values that were planted here in this country by the missionaries who started all the Ivy League schools. I don't know if Christians started this school, but every single Ivy League, Harvard, Yale, Dartmouth, were all started for the sake of Christian missionaries who planted in the character that Martin Luther King Jr. is talking about. For someone who...
Okay, why does that matter? So just because a Christian made the school, does that mean they have to be teaching the Bible every 2 days? Like, no. The universities improved, becoming an Ivy League. They were not Ivy League when they were made. Becoming one of the best universities in the world. Now they're secular and not teaching just Bible studies and fairy tales, and apparently that's a problem.
Who's a nihilist? They would say, I don't have any value until I sit and say I make money. So if you don't have money, you're dirt. For a nihilist,
We all do that because our brain processes it. Our brain does that to us. I don't feel accomplished today until I make another video or edit another video or read my book or read a book or do my homework and do all that. We don't feel accomplished until we do those things. That's your brain. That's not just atheist. That's everyone.
they would say, I'm not ultimately going anywhere, so why not be kind of a relativist when it comes to my morality? That there's no end game, there's no God holding me accountable. So yes, if we want to buy into a society that says, hey, morally speaking, let's help each other by living morally. Oh, okay. You get to an extent, but then you could also be a free rider easily and say, well, why not get some for me over here? So nihilism breaks down in so many different ways, but especially in the area of character. That Christ came and Jesus Christ was the only one. Yes, you get different ancient texts talking about the importance of eye for an eye and justice and that sort of thing. But Jesus Christ is the only historical figure who claimed to be God and is now worshipped by 35% of the world and growing greatly, who planted in weakness, it seems like, in character. What do I mean by weakness? Forgiveness, empathy, love, sacrificing, helping the poor. A nihilist, Friedrich Nietzsche said, that if you are living that way as supposedly an atheist, you're claiming to be an atheist, but you're actually a Christian.
So basically, before Christianity, before Jesus came, none of this ever exists. Nobody was actually thinking of helping the poor. Nobody was thinking of helping the people that are sick. Everyone was just killing each other, and that's how humanity survived, and that's how God was able to fuck a woman, a virgin apparently, and make up Jesus. Makes some sense. And also, just because people believe it doesn't make it true. And the people that believe it don't even follow the character of Jesus. And Jesus was a decent guy for his time, but not talking about slavery is an issue to me, or for me. Because how can he be this good, loving Jesus and never talk about slavery? Or maybe he was just too uneducated to even do so.
Because a nihilist should be buying into the thinking of, this is it, it's all about me, there's no ultimate meaning, there's no end game, there's no heaven, there's no hell. So why in the world would I live a life where I'm dedicating to helping others? That doesn't make a
Because you can.
whole lot of sense. Which is a great point. Why?
if you are confronted by a professor or a fellow student who says, evolution, it's all about evolution, fine, I hear you. But what you're saying is ethics, morality, good and evil are based on evolution.
Yes.
Okay, now what does that mean ethically? Evolution is survival of the fittest. So ethically, I am justified to do anything that promotes survival, right? So let me ask you, my atheist friend who buys into evolution, why is the rape?
We don't buy into evolution. Evolution is a fact, whether you're a Christian or a Muslim or whatever the fuck you are. Nobody's buying into evolution. This isn't a faith-based thing. This is a fact. Like, just because you believe the earth is flat doesn't mean the earth is actually flat. You're just living in your own bubble and not looking at the facts. Evolution is a fact, people.
Of a woman wrong if it produces babies? Survival. It's not wrong.
Yes, it is. There's so many things that could go wrong. The woman could just kill the child and you. I'm going dark here, but why not? The woman could kill you and the child. The woman could actually, because you forced rape her, not actually produce the child. In this process of the rape, you could actually have harmed her and there would be no child. There's so many things, again, that could just go wrong. The woman could just kill the child. The woman could just kill herself. Oh wow. Oh wow. So much for survival.
See what I mean?
No, nobody sees what you mean, Cliff. Just because you claim that this entire morality, the terrible morality and the standard that you have, the divine command theory, that it all comes from God giving you the orders, and everything God does is apparently just good, doesn't mean we actually didn't get our morality from just evolution. People start caring about each other because we understand that we are all what we have. We need to help each other out.
If survival of the fittest is the truth, then what does that mean ethically? It means what's good is that which promotes survival of the fittest.
Survival of all of us as a species.
So therefore, rape, stealing, lying, racism can all be justified under the umbrella, this is the way we survive best. This is the way we promote our species.
Are they beyond like a Martin Luther King statue? Okay, so is rape wrong in the Bible when God commands it? Divine command theory here. No. Is stealing wrong? Clearly not. Is killing wrong? Clearly not. I don't think these bozos understand how dark divine command theory goes. If God commands you to wipe out people and kill everyone, you will have to do it because everything that it says is good. If God commands you to build an ark and only take your family and not take everybody else and let them all die, you will do it because you think everything that God says is good. That is insanity.
You think I'm nuts?
Hell yes, I think you're not.
See, this woman is an excellent example. She has just as much value as anybody because she's a human being created in the image of God, who God loves. But if there is no God and survival of the fittest is all what it's about, how tragic. That has profound ethical implications.
This is a question.
You know, that woman did not ask to be like that. And Cliff, She did not ask to be put in your dumb conversation. She was just living her life and going by her way. God made her like that. If you believe in this God, then you have to admit that God made her like that. God did that. Does that make any sense to you, Cliff? That a good God that apparently loves her so much would make her like that? Having to use a wheelchair? We all know that makes no sense. That's why Christians make up excuses like, oh, it's just a sin, it's the generational curse, it's the devil. But if God created humans, then everything in us, including our sinful nature and our design, was made by Him. So the people that are born blind, God let that happen. It is insane that you can even wrap your mind around that and just say whatever you want to say. It's weird how these people just say whatever they want to say. Morality is relative, whether you like it or not. And if you're claiming that it's objective, prove it. You don't decide. There's no objective purpose for anybody's life. We decide relatively to put value on things, including our lives, including each other. That's not God. If you read the Bible clearly, God doesn't give a France about anyone's life. God does not care. He doesn't care. If you like this video and like this kind of content, like and subscribe. Have a great day.